Hello, today we're going to be installing my red hot arrow light up sign mod purchased from Tim's Pinball Mods. It is going to move the sign from below the wire form to above it. Thank you very much. Alright, I'm going to start by removing the sign. I'm holding the post on the bottom so it doesn't rotate out. Just some light pressure with some long needle nose pliers. Put that off to the side. Next, I'm going to loosen the screw, remove this, and remove this other nut as well. Give me some flexibility for routing the cables. Going over to the workbench next and preparing the sign. Alright, I'm going to remove the screw from the original metal mounting bracket. Need to save the screw, put the bracket off the side, and then place whichever version of the sign you want from shipped with the game. I'm going to reuse that screw and carefully thread it on there. Now, one thing I want to point out is if you're ever redoing this, always thread backwards till you feel that click, so that you don't cut a new set of threads every time you put this on. I'm just going to thread it on until it is just tight enough to hold it. Don't He-Man tight it. A little bit more. There. All right, I'm going to route the wires next to the stand-up target and down. And once I get past these joints, I want to be very careful to make sure that these cables go behind that post, not in front of it. Around and in front. I don't want them to be pinched either. Now at this point I can reinstall the screws I removed. Once again, back threading. I'm going to reinstall the two nuts as well. Now before I install this nut, this is where the post is going to get installed. Now I have a little less clearance than some because I have the factory plastic protectors on, so keep that in mind. Might make it a little bit more difficult. I'm not going to tighten that down quite yet. Next, it's time to dry fit the sign where you want it. And make sure it clears. Alright, I used a piece of tape to act as a gauge. I'm using this to level up the top of the bracket, and also tested to make sure with where I want it that it's going to clear a pinball going down this ramp. There's not a lot of speed here, so I don't have to give too much height. And I'm going to want it right about there. It should clear. Now, his instructions state that you want this top of this bracket level with the top of the sign. I'm going to be pretty close to that, and it's going to be towards the front of the arrow. Alright, I'm just using the box it came with just as a straight edge. Make sure I have a little bit of gap here so that it doesn't, when I'm raising and lowering it, bang against the side. I can rotate that just a little bit more. And I am going to tighten the nut down. And the pinball does clear pretty good. All right, I'm going to want to route these cables so that they're more towards the inside of the game. And they came with connectors to connect the alligator clips onto. Now, time to hook these in. The instructions are showing pictures of where we need to go. Connect the alligator clips GI, which is going to be right here. And then the other one is going to clip into the right orbit lamp socket for the bottom of the playfield. So that is going to be right here, closest to the switch that we went through. And we're going to hook up the black wire, clip on the lamp socket to the left, the yellow white wire. Left of the yellow wire. So this is going to clip on to here. The other one is going to clip onto the yellow white wire. After I powered it on, I realized that I had these two wires reversed, so the black one does go onto the brown with the white wire, and the red went onto the straight up brown wire, and everything works properly now. I'm going to just tie it up, and just to make sure these wires don't get pinched in anything, got this nice handy bundle here. Because these wires come through, I'm going to put an additional zip tie here, just loosely to keep the wires from popping onto the playfield. I'd like to mention this is a good time. Test it before you wrap the game up. Make sure the lights work as they should. Installation's all done, hooked up correctly. You notice that's flashing along with the arrow down there. Thought it was a well-built mod. Only suggestion I'd like to see is the two wires that go below don't appear to be labeled which one's the GI and which one hooks into the arrow. So you may be a little bit of trial and error. Other than that, real happy. I think it looks awesome. Thank you very much.